What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? So I am recording this intro a second time because when I edited the video, I like it messed up on the rendering and it cut off the first like 10 minutes of the video. So I'm pissed. But whatever, we ball. 2 hours later, we're gonna re-record what I said, or at least attempt to. I'll probably forget a lot of things, but whatever, we ball. So So it's my last day in Montreal. Overall, it's been a pretty decent trip. It's been a very necessary trip. I talk more about the trip in in my blog. I started the blog. You can check it out in the link in the description below if you want. Also, check out the shirt that I'm wearing. Um, wait, I'm haunted. It's from so my ex gave it to me for Valentine's Day last year, and I know people are gonna say to throw it out, to burn it, whatever, but honestly, I don't think I ever could because the shirt is just awesome. So I'm not gonna do that. It's from this company called Haunted Starbucks, which is like an, an account on Instagram that I've been following for a while. They make some really interesting, cool stuff. Um, and I just really like the artwork, the direction that they're pushing in. You know, it's very unique, I would say. But yeah, it's my last night. I ordered like $100 worth of room service. Uh, and I'll put like a picture on it on the screen. But basically, it was like poutine and a burger and a cheesecake. The poutine was fine. The burger was also fine. The cheesecake though, oh man, like like that shit was bomb. That shit was so fucking good. I want to see if I can have it again tomorrow morning because that shit was the bomb. It was so good. It's so fucking good. But yeah, I'll throw up a picture on the screen. And last night I went to a rave, and it was all right. You know, it was all right. You know, I took the subway there. And the subway in Montreal is pretty good. It's like this super high tech train system. It's way more high tech than in Toronto, even though they don't accept Apple Pay for the actual like machines. Like you have to get a ticket for some reason. So in some ways, it's high tech. Like the actual train cars themselves are high tech. They have all these LEDs and shit. But the actual stations themselves look like they're from, you know, from the 90s or some shit like that. Like it's very, very dated stuff. Um, but yeah, I took the subway. It was cold as hell, but thankfully the subway is like pretty short walking distance from me. And in total, like the subway ride was like 10 minutes. It was like a couple of stops, so it wasn't that bad. So now uh I will let me from the past take over. Hopefully this entire video will make sense. But I basically had to buy another ticket which was like $70. My original ticket was $50, which is already pretty steep. But this one was $70, you know, and I walk in, the guy finally lets me in, and I walk up the stairs, and there's like this coat check thing, and you have to put your coat in there. You have to put your coat in there, or else I don't know. You know, you might have a knife in your coat or something. I don't know, but you have to put your coat in the coat check. But the coat check only takes in cash. And my ass, I don't know why, but I didn't have cash on me. I was like, whatever. Like I just didn't really think to bring cash with me. So I was like, oh, whatever. You know, and it was like $4, and I couldn't get the code check, and I was kind of like standing around the stairway, and the security guard was like coming up to me, and he's like, "What's the problem?" And I was like, "Oh, I don't have money for the code check. Can I please borrow like $4 or something?" Like I was showing him my bank account, like look, I can like transfer you the money like right now, And he was like, "No, you have to use the ATM downstairs." The main issue is I didn't even have my debit card with me, so I couldn't even take out the money. So I was like, "Oh fuck." So I was kind of like just like standing still, not really sure what to do. And this bald guy comes up to me, and I think he works there, but he's like, but he was basically like, "Yo, uh, let me tell you something. Let me teach you something. Look at me." And I look at him. I turn around, and he's like, he's like, "What kind of person doesn't bring cash to a nightclub? Okay, look at me. Listen, let me teach you something, and don't forget it. Like, look, you're young. Always bring cash to a nightclub and a barber. Remember cash to a nightclub and a barber, always." And I was like, "Okay." And I was like, "Okay." And so I go downstairs, and there was this lady like outside the door. I think she was like the club manager or something like that, because she had like a very fancy like winter coat. It was like all fur. It was like all fur, like white fur. It looked real. It looked like one of those like old school Russian like coats, a wool hat, just super fancy, crazy stuff. And she was actually a super nice lady, like but I was like, "Yo, I didn't bring my debit card. Is it okay if I like leave and then I come back and then I come right back?" And she was like, "Yeah, that's fine, that's fine." And I had got I had gotten a stamp on my arm, so theoretically I could go back in. And yeah, just I decided to get back on the subway, get back to my hotel, because my hotel was only like 10 minutes away. It was a 10-minute ride away. So I got back to my hotel, and I sat down on the chair in my hotel, and I was kind of just like contemplating, like, fuck, should I go back? Should I go back? And I was like, fuck it, dude. I already spent like $70. $70. I already spent like tickets for the subway. You know, I came out all the way to Montreal just to go to this club specifically. Like, fuck it. I might as well go. So I went. I got my debit card. I I I came back to the ATM machine. I managed to take out some money. I could only take out like $20, which was crazy. Even though the code check was $4, and I finally got my code checked in, and they finally let me the fuck in. And when I got there, so the club itself was I don't know what it was. Maybe it was like maybe it was like a pride night or something, but it was only gay dudes. It was only gay dudes. And like I can say that they're gay dudes because they were, number one, they were shirtless, and number two, they were like dancing on each other. They're just like rubbing each other's bodies, rubbing each other's bellies. There was dudes of all different shapes and sizes. There was like, I think that was the first time I ever like, because I heard the term like bear around in like communities, a person named a bear. and I was always kind of confused what that was until this night. I was like, okay, these are bears, just big burly men with like bellies and like sometimes muscles, just big guys, just big security guard looking guys, looking fellers, like henchmen looking asses, and there was actually a a pretty large number of those dudes there. It was kind of cool because like those dudes were just like those dudes looked so masculine, but at the same time they were in this place and they were just letting themselves loose, and it was kind of cool. It was kind of cool. Um, but in terms of like the actual environment, besides the dudes, like the environment was pretty chill. It was pretty like vibrant. It was there was like a huge disco ball in the middle. You couldn't take pictures in there or videos. Um and I saw like a couple people like try to take videos, and the security guards would catch them, and they would be like, no, you can't do that, and they would force them to delete the videos, which is insane. But apparently it's for some like privacy reasons, which is fair. And I can't help but think that maybe that if this club is like popular with like gay people, that maybe like someone might not want to get like outed. If someone posts like a clip of the club on like social media, and someone from like the family uh, sees the clip and sees that their son is like grinding on another dude, they might be like, "What the heck?" That's like one theory I have. Um, another th- another theory that I have is just that like they might want people to like actually live in the moment. So maybe it's a little bit of both. But maybe leaning more towards like the privacy sort of like thing. But yeah, there was like a big disco ball. There was really nice lights. I really enjoyed the lighting of the place. And I usually go to clubs without my glasses because I don't really want to lose my glasses. But still, even without my glasses, I could very much appreciate like the lighting. The lighting was awesome. I also really like the fact that in the back there were so many like seating areas, and it wasn't just areas that were just like in the back, like secluded areas. It was areas that were still kind of like part of the club. So so like at the front there was like the main dance floor, and then towards the back, you had to like climb up some stairs. That was where there was like the seating areas. So even though you were seated, you could still see the dance floor, and you could still like join in on the dance floor like anytime you wanted without having to go through like separate rooms and stuff. So even when you were seated, it still felt like you were part of the whole atmosphere, of the whole vibe, which was actually really nice. Like I really like that. And also in the seating area, uh they also had the bar, but it wasn't even a bar. Like they don't serve alcohol at the establishment at all, which I thought was really interesting. Like I'm really curious why that is. They only serve like Gatorade, I think, and water. So yeah, but that's still kind of clutch, just like eh, just like forcing people to enjoy the club without the use of substances. Even though, according to the Yelp reviews, they still deal drugs in the bathroom. Like it's very much like a popular thing that people do. But anyways, I was like vibing. I was chilling, at the At the start, I was at the front. I was kind of like getting my bearings and kind of like coming to terms with the fact that there weren't gonna be many girls there. That it was all gonna just be guys. But then I kind of like leaned more into it, and I was kind of like vibing and shit. And I don't know if this is a bad thing to say, but gay dudes are really good at dancing. Like so many of them were fucking killing it. They were fucking killing it. Like I really wish I could dance like that. I really wish I could just pop off like that. Like I could move my body like that because they were actually fucking killing it. Like it was so sick. To just witness. And of course, I tried to join in. I tried to, do my own thing. But yeah, I was also wearing these big ass boots because Montreal is just covered in snow, so I couldn't really do my thing that much without getting tired super quickly. Um, and then kind of like towards the end of my time there, I was more in the seated area, and I was kind of sitting and sitting, and then this girl started like dancing close to me when I was seated, and she was like dancing around, kind of looking around. She was like glancing at me sometimes, while dancing, and then I kind of like I kind of realized that, oh shit, she's actually looking at me. So I stood up and I started dancing, next to her, and like yeah, and she kept like looking at me, looking away, looking at me, looking away, and then we kind of started dancing closer and then further and then closer, and we kind of developed like a little rhythm, but not really. But yeah, we were just like dancing. We weren't like grinding on top of each other. We were barely like close to each other, but we were still like kind of like dancing in the same space. You know what I'm saying? And like we were both like looking at each other, and like each time there was a drop, we kind of like gave each other a smile and stuff, and it was sick. And towards the end of all that, I was seated, and like she came up to me, and she was like dancing, and she had her like hands out, and I gave her like double high five, because I wasn't really sure what to do, and now and yeah, I kind of stood up again. We started dancing, and eventually she had to go, which actually made me kind of sad. And before she left, she like touched my shoulder, but like very very delicately, and I was like, ooh, and I was like, ooh, and yeah, I was kind of sad that she left, because I was actually really enjoying just like dancing with her. Um, and like I've never danced with a girl before. Sorry, I was just checking to see how long I was recording. I don't want to make this video too long, but yeah, it was like real nice dancing with her and stuff. And yeah, I was really sad when she left because I actually really enjoyed it. And when she left, I kind of left shortly after. I stuck around for like 20, 30 more minutes, and then I kind of just left. Um, and getting my coat back again was such a pain in the ass. Like people were just like crowding the whole space. I feel like the coat check people were pretty much high or wasted or something because they kept forgetting my number, and I was just so ready to just like get the fuck out of there. And as I was like leaving, as I was getting ready, the manager lady with the wool coat approached me, and she was like, "Oh, you're leaving already?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah." And she was like, "Oh, did you have fun?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, it was such a good time." And she was like, "Oh, where are you from?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm from Toronto." And I think she was like, "Oh, why are you leaving so quickly?" Even though I was like there for like 2.5 hours, but I was like, oh, I gotta go to church in the morning. And she was like, oh, that's cool. What church do you go to? And I was like, oh, St. Joseph's. But I'm actually visiting from Toronto. And yeah, I just wanted to go. And she's like, oh, well, have fun, and thank you for coming. And I was like, oh, thank you for hosting. And she's like, oh, you're welcome, you're welcome. And it was so nice. Like, she was such a nice lady. And as I was leaving, like the place, as I was walking out the door, she was like, "Oh, stay safe," and and uh, and I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." And like, yeah, she was like a really lovely lady, and yeah, I'm like, she just had like such good energy about her, and I feel like she is a club manager because she had like an aura around her, like it looks like people knew her, people respected her, like everyone was like talking to her and stuff. But yeah, maybe like next time I'm in Montreal, I might pop into the club again, say hi. Uh, Maybe she remembers me, maybe she won't. I don't know, but yeah, it's a good time. I was talking about this dude. Um, oh, I forgot to mention when I came back the second time after I got my debit card, like there was such a long line for no reason. Like people were fucking lining up, like all down the street, and and I was in line for like an hour or so, which is crazy in like minus 17 Celsius degree weather, and in the line I talked to this dude in front of me. I think his name was like Fadrick or something. He was a Montreal native, and I kind of started talking to him, like what he does and stuff like that. He works in finance. He works in like mortgage broker or some shit like that. And like yeah, we got to talking. He says he wants to visit Toronto, and I was like, oh, you should come, you should come. Um, but yeah, I didn't really see him that night after we got through the door because he had to get tickets somewhere else, and I already had my ticket, so I could just like walk in. But yeah, overall, it was like a really good time. I went to church today, this morning. Um, I do St. Joseph's Oratory, which is a very, very beautiful church. It's a very beautiful basilica. And I attended the French church service, and I prayed to Jesus and to God, and it made me cry. And I was feeling his presence so hard in that moment. And it was such a nice experience. And I really wish I knew French so I could understand what the mat what the pastor was saying, what the father was saying. Like I kind of understood it because it's Advent, and but not really. So I ended up walking out before it ended. But yeah, overall today was a pretty good experience. Yeah, I can't really complain. I'm still eating my food. But yeah, so yeah, peace.